Welcome to your Magic Moon Message, Part 2. This is the Peace Dealer. Moon is leaving Libra. It's about at the third decade of Mercury, and it's going to go into Scorpio. I just want to reiterate, you guys, for those of you guys who saw the Part 1, for those of you guys who saw me do that full moon, you saw me say you guys are going to see some more crazy pandemonium. It's going to get very chaotic over the next 2 weeks. Boom, now Diddy's house got raided. When I say that, I don't want to necessarily act like I'm like Nostradamus. I know you've seen me predict a lot of things, but this I consider this to be in line with what many other people are in their own way also kind of sharing. And just like I'm using these arts and crafts to help guide, that's part of this revolution where you're getting ready now that Pluto is in Aquarius at a much broader collective level, to see people wake up, to see people say all these things too, which was a major theme of Pluto Sag and Pluto Cap. If you think the God level of awakening, or the God level period, is Sag Cap Aqua Pisces, Sag Cap Aqua Pisces. If we do it in threes, right, it's going to be Cap Aqua Pisces. But Sag and Cap, Pluto Sag and Cap are the first two of the four God signs. Pluto Aqua and Pluto Pisces are now reaching critical mass. This is where we reach critical mass. So the reason why moving forward, almost overnight, you're going to see all sorts of people, because that's the whole lesson of humanitarianism. That's the whole lesson of collective connection, where no matter what culture you're from, no matter what race you are, no matter what labels that group of people will use over time to make one different from other, you see this in every group, right? There are just certain core axioms that we all share that unite all of us. For example, the fact that we all breathe, and the fact that one day our mortal forms will probably perish, that unites everyone. It's, of course, hubris, mental illness, ignorance that causes one group or individual people to feel like, oh, I'm better, I'm this, I'm that, I'm worse, or whatever, dumb shit. Other than that, that's one thing I wanted to really express. Like I mentioned before, this next 2 weeks from South Node to North Node is literally unlocking and preparing you to initialize a personal independent mission that will now plug you in to this war arc, this saga, this series of seasons that is tied into the theme of conflict. We could even say universally, because a lot of what we think is happening on this planet, we may not have the wherewithal to perceive how it's being influenced directly or indirectly by, events that are occurring beyond this galaxy. A concept that I want you to think about. Does that mean that something happened in 2 galaxies away? I don't know that, but that's the point. We don't know. So I'm not trying to say this could be happening, but just the whole concept that there are worlds beyond worlds, beyond worlds, beyond worlds, where we, compared to these greater existences, we're just ants, we're just bacteria. We're just like we look at bacteria and ourselves as just a part of us as organisms. So this is what now this awakening with Pluto and Aquarius enables us to integrate into how we look at the events. Please don't get distracted by the events. I mean, I'm not necessarily going to blame anyone who sensationalizes it, but just stay woke and just don't get distracted. You're still in this world, so enjoy yourself, but just remember what you're doing here. As, of course, as we make it to the moon in Capricorn, you're getting fully debriefed on what it is you're meant to do. And this is where, if you see this as a play in production, you will see that as you act out in a play, right, you hallucinate your conscious reality. There's 99% of you that exists that is not physical. So less than 1% of you is physical. Like you playing a video game, and like less than 1% of your awareness is in the avatar in a simulation. All right. So I'm not saying this is exactly what it is, but as you see people picking sides, as you see people taking actions that might conflict or go against you, provided that those actions they're taking are authentic to them, that is the best thing that they could ever do. Just like you. All right. The last thing you want is for someone, hypothetically, because I'm not going to say their sides, to join your side and authentically they want to be on the other side. That's horrible. Tell them to go over there. You know what I mean? Like, just as an example. So, like, if you think of it as like, okay, I'm the protagonist in this play or antagonist, and I'm going to have lines against the other, other people, and we're going to be acting very angry. Even if we're really angry, it still at some level is a play that every actor has to fulfill their role so that the story can play out. Obviously, of course, it's not as helpful to go meta when you're engrossed in real issues, even though you all hallucinate your reality. Regardless, this is definitely going to tie into the full realization and unlocking of your character that you will, of course, be taking through the rest of chapter 1 and chapter 2 of this evolution cycle that reinitiated itself April of 2023. Anyway, I said all of that to say, if you think that anything you have witnessed is even, because like people are talking about Diddy, people are asking you, hey, tie the astrology to Diddy, I already spoke about Diddy. I already made the video saying, hey, this is just barely beginning. Like we talked about how Saturn is opposing his moon in Virgo. Honestly, I don't want to say anything about Diddy. I mean, you'll see me get excited about certain things, but I really don't want to sensationalize what everyone else is sensationalizing. Diddy is an appetizer. Sloan Bella is saying Jay-Z's next. Honestly, if we're talking about the realm of entertainment, that is a huge distraction. These are the appetizers. Some of the biggest entertainers that you idolize are pawns on the chessboard of the people who really run shit. So when you look at this as an appetizer, once again, this meal is only just starting to get cooked. The chef is still cooking the main course meal. Like, they still just serving us appetizers. Okay? Remember that all these things you see are produced on programs. Not to say that these events are staged. Many of these events are not staged. They just bring their production crew to them and spin narratives. So that's the theme of this revolution. Many of you have been born, and your entire life you have known nothing but the current model of how news is broadcasted to you, not knowing that it did not always used to be like that. And there is a reset and reboot that is going to bring it back to the original raw way. Project Veritas, or screw them, let me just say the GOAT, the real hero, James O'Keefe, I know some of y'all don't like that name, are bringing back that feel. And he's just but one example of how everyone around the world is going to return to this raw model of being the reporter. We're no longer, gone are the days where we rely on the news team to report what they're going to lie or at least have bias towards, even if they mean well. It takes a village to raise a child. Neighborhood watch groups. What happens when now conscious people in their community decide we're going to be the eyes and ears? We're not going to let that we're building this country's GDP distract us from taking care of our kids, from taking care of what we have to do. This isn't me saying this is what people have to do. Millions of people all around the world have always got it. They're going to you're going to see them apply and implement what people have been thinking about for years. And now you're getting authentic, fresh news from people who are actually in the community, unskewed. I mean, there will always be a bias. And this is just the beginning of the ripple effect. So you have a role to play in this all. And I'm just using news in as example. I don't even necessarily want to demonize what was old. It's just what begins usually ends. So we're seeing the end of old models that we're getting ready to update. And in updating, we may return back to how things were used to be done with, of course, a new twist because we have, greater connecting technology and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, once we step into the moon in Scorpio, that's it, baby. Like moon in Scorpio, moon in Sag, moon in Cap, there is an intensification with that moon square to Pluto, it's going to get ready to dive us deeper into these conflicts. And you want to see the moon in Libra as like the agreements, like, hey, this is our only chance to cease fire. This is our only chance to agreement, because if you don't, yeah, I'm going to get more of your ops. You're going to get more ops. We're about to get clashing. Scorpio's a sign of death, y'all. And square Pluto, this is bringing an intensity of trust issues at a collective and social level between nations and its inhabitants, maybe even between solar systems. But I'm just at this point, I'm just speculating. But regardless, as we finish out of this transit, the quincunx the moon will have to Neptune is getting ready to provide this understanding of social context, moon in Libra, namely who you are and what you feel and how you feel you stand in all these conflicts. And it's going to get ready to transform what you believe because of what you're understanding. Like, yeah, this is who I think I am. But once I went to the store, I didn't realize, I wasn't expecting the store owner to be fighting 5 customers. Now I have to understand, whose side am I going to take? Am I going to be a neutral observer? I want to buy some yogurt. So now I'm banking up the customers. Bing, 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 get the fuck out the store. Boom. They're out the store, I can get my yogurt. Like, this is where everyone now, someone else might have a different decision. What a crazy example, by the way. But this is going to let you know, cool, and based on the information, transform what you believe about yourself. And once we go to Moon Scorpio, this is just going to saucify everything. It adds so much sauce. The spiciness that the Moon in Leo brought is going to become more saucy. And of course, now that the Moon has made it over its 210-degree Scorpio signature transformation quincunx to Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, this is adding the natural strength you have been evolving within yourself to apply to these social situations. So now when I'm banking up the customers, I notice, because I've strengthened my energy, now it looks like things are moving in slow motion. I have ultra instinct. Bing. Crazy example. Anyway, yeah, that's really, the final degrees of each of these moon transits are, of course, in general, going to be potent, but now more than ever. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. You are completing the establishment of the agreements, the formality. Libra is just formalities of war. If it was just Aries, we wouldn't even talk. We would just kick down the door and just start scrapping, just start shooting. But thank God for Libra, so we can be like, hey, I'm about to fuck your country up. Hey, I'm about to fuck you up. Hey, okay, look, if you do A, B, C, and D, I won't fuck your country up. Oh, you want to compromise? That's all Libra is. I don't know how Libra bias is some of the most powerful superpower ever. Libra bias is smacking the host of the Oscars, winning an Oscar, doing a speech as you win the Oscar that everyone gives you a standing ovation on, and then dancing. I'm not even mad at it. It's a superpower. I'm not mad at it. I'm not saying it shouldn't be like that. I'm just saying, like, wow. Libra is one of my favorite signs, so I'm also biased too. I'm just saying, like, just be mindful. It's because of Libra we have the luxury of being like, hey, if you don't meet my demands, I might blow your shit up. It's the only, but otherwise we wouldn't even be talking. It would just be like, we'd still be like in the Tarzan age. So that's cool. Other than that, peep game, because that's all that's going to be peeped. And as soon as the moon goes into Scorpio, like the Pluto 1 degree Aquarius does not leave any time for buildup. It's just, it's gonna get nuclear. I'm just being vague just so it can allude to any possibilities, and if they happen, you'll remember that I said it. Anyway, you stay blessed as always. Before the moon goes into Scorpio, that peak moon in Libra is giving you a full understanding of what and who you are relative to how you express it towards others. And Scorpio is going to add more depth, more wisdom, more layers, and prepare for you to draw boundaries as you not only, of course, come into the understanding of who to invest your value into, but you begin to activate, or should I say harvest, a transformation of this character. Peace.